Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's hearing to review the President's fiscal year 2025 funding request.
And then since October 7th, the increase just went up dramatically. I think in the first 4 months after October 7th, we saw about a 60% increase in the number of hate crimes investigations we were opening. And while not all of those were targeting the Jewish community, some were targeting Muslim Americans, Arab Americans, and others, the vast majority were targeting the Jewish community. Put that in a little more context, the Jewish community represents about 2.5% of the American population, and yet within religiously motivated hate crimes, about 60% of them, close to 60% of them, are directed at the Jewish community. So you can see the reason why we think it is such a significant concern. They are targeted by foreign jihadist-inspired terrorists, whether it's ISIS, Al-Qaeda, others. They're targeted by Shia terrorists, Iran and its proxies. They're targeted by domestic violent extremists, white supremacists and others, as well as anarchists and some of the folks who are, pro-Palestinian and so forth. So they have the tragic distinction of really being targeted by almost every type of terrorist organization there is out there, foreign and domestic, across the spectrum. And so they desperately need our help, and we're going to give it to them.
Of investigation. Our witness today is FBI Director Christopher Wray. Director.
Just in the time that I've been FBI director, we've disrupted multiple terrorist attacks in cities and communities around the country. We need funding to continue protecting America from terrorism. I touched on this earlier, but there was already a heightened risk of violence in the United States before October 7th. And since then, we've seen a rogues gallery of foreign terrorist organizations call for attacks against Americans and our allies. And given those calls for action, our most immediate concern has been that individuals or small groups will draw twisted inspiration from the events in the Middle East to carry out attacks here at home. But now, on top of that, increasingly concerning is the potential for a coordinated attack here in the homeland, not unlike the ISIS-K attack we saw at the Russia concert hall back in March. China. We're up to something like 2,000 active cases across all 56 FBI field offices focused on the PRC's efforts to try to steal our information and technology. And we need funding to continue countering the threat posed by the PRC, a government sparing no expense in its quest to hack, lie, cheat, and steal its way to the top as a global superpower and to undermine our democracy and our economic success. Cyber. We're investigating more than 100 different ransomware variants, each of them impacting scores of victims, and that's just ransomware. We need funding to continue disrupting all kinds of cyber threats, certainly those from China, but also from a crowded field of sophisticated criminals and hostile nation states like Russia, Iran, and North Korea. The fentanyl epidemic. We've got between 300 and 400 investigations just into cartel leadership, and time again, our folks are seizing enough fentanyl to wipe out entire states. We need funding to continue thwarting the range of threats emanating from the border. Fentanyl, gangs like MS-13, human trafficking.
Wray, welcome. It's nice to have you back before this committee. Attorney General Garland was before